Well, the dust has started to settle on Hollywoodbets Durban, July 2023. A memorable moment, Winchester Mansion winning Africa's greatest horse race, the 127th edition of the Hollywoodbets Durban, July, joined by Devon Pretorius, who watched from afar. What did you think of it all?
Well, definitely FOMO, 100%. From the couch shouting home the horses, it was unbelievable experience. It was 50,000, 60,000 people there. Really looked like an absolute racing spectacle. And of course, what a day for Brett Crawford and his stable with Winchester Mansion.
Yeah, absolutely. The best July I've been to until the lights got turned off. Let's focus on the positives. Winchester Mansion, a home boy, a Cape boy, obviously been prepped up at Randfontein by Brett and James Crawford, but a prep that all came together. They all said you can't raid 3 times into Durban. It worked to perfection, but a stirring battle with a top horse in the form of See It Again, who you would have seen here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth during the Cape Summer.
But ultimately, the talk was the whole travelling the 3 times. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? But James has been doing a phenomenal job up in Randfontein, as you've said. And that's what ultimately threw me off and put me on to See It Again was the travelling. And that came to bite me back in the race. So, but huge kudos to Brett Crawford and James and the team. And obviously for Brett's first July win, so big congratulations to them.
Yeah, you're first as well. Cabello Mazzaniani's first July win, and also Gaynor Rupert's first July win as an owner as well. She bred Legislate in 2014. See It Again though. When we get here in summer, we're going to see a lot of headlines about him, I'm sure.
I cannot wait for the summer season. It's going to be an absolute spectacle, especially with Charles Dickens, of course. I'm sure they will clash quite a few times. Of course, the Queen's Place and the Mets will be interesting to see how Charles Dickens, if he goes for the 2,000 metre in the Mets, but See It Again, it will be racing's new rivalry.
Yeah, bring it on. What about the rest of the card? We saw Mrs. Geriatrics remain unbeaten. You haven't seen her yet, but when she turns up here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth next season, you're going to scratch your head and say, what is that doing here?
I've just heard how small she is. I can't believe it, and she just turns it on every single time. I thought first time around the turn might be a bit of a thrown into the deep end, but she really turned it on, and what a classy filly she looks to be.
And Gold Cup Day shaping up to be an absolute ripper as well, because Sandringham Summit's win was absolutely brilliant. Give me another chance worth another chance with a draw on Gold Cup Day, but then we also got the kicker of Lucky Lad, who's likely to travel down as well. So unbeaten Lucky Lad, the incredible ability of Sandringham Summit, and the worth another chance, give me another chance. That's shaping up to be one of the races of the season right at the end.
Well, I have to confess, at the 100-metre mark, I was busy shouting home, give me another chance, and I thought we were going to stand in the queue, pay. But then Sandringham Summit from absolutely nowhere came through and just won. It was an unbelievable ride from Calvin and the team. A big congratulations to David as well. And but also talking about Gold Cup, Future Pearl, a very impressive win with 55.5 kilograms in the 3,000 metre race. So hopefully he'll be there on Gold Cup Day as well. So looking forward to the end of July.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of ability suddenly among the staying ranks, because it's pretty much unheard of that a 3-year-old wins the Gold Bowl and Gold Vase. Never mind win them, but running them as well. So Future Pearl, I think, has got the staying ranks at his feet for the next couple of seasons. And then the final Grade 1 on the day, the Ridgemont Garden Province Stakes, it was dubbed to be a match race. They did run 1-2, but Princess Calla over There's a Miracle, which way were you going before the race?
Was in the camp 100% of Princess Calla. She's really turned to be one of my favourite filly, or now mares. I think she's about 5 years old now. So unfortunately, There's a Miracle did pull a shoe at the start, so that's where I quickly went on. I had a couple of rounds on Princess Calla just to reaffirm it. So yeah, but Princess Calla certainly showing her class, and
yeah, we've been treated over the last decade with sensational fillies and mares running around in South Africa, and there are just 2 more. Princess Calla getting the bragging rights in the Ridgemont Garden Province. So that's pretty much it as we lead into Wednesday's card here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Now, it's a 9-race card, and the beauty of racing here in Cape Town, even though we're in winter and we so-called out of season, even though the feature race is coming up with the Langerman not too far away, there are such exciting horses running around here today.
Especially beautifully bred horses, especially race number 1, number 12, 3 Coins, certainly stands to attention out of Bella Bella. So it'll be interesting to see how she runs. Not a great amount of betting support for her, which is quite interesting, but also from the first timers later on in race number 4, number 6 Bodified, who has had some betting support. Of course, his sire was Justified, which also comes from the Stormcat sire line, so very interesting to see how he runs on debut. So beautifully bred horses, and certainly a great day of racing expected.
Blown me away with all that pedigree knowledge. Didn't have a clue. So yeah, race 1, 3 Coins by Give Me the Green Light out of Bella Bella. A very interesting debutant, and obviously related to Chow Bella, who's subsequently been retired to stud. And then we also got some Fast 15 royalty, more Fast 15 royalty in the form of number 13 Pineapple Mint Green. It wouldn't be Eric Sands' way to ready them up first time out. Even the Justin Snaith trained Princess Izzy has something about her on breeding. Those are all first timers, let alone those who have run. What's going on in race number 2 on the card?
Race number 2, I'd rather be in the camp of number 10 Below Deck from the Justin Snaith stable. Went over 1,400 meters last time, now back to 1,200 meters, but with the going at the moment, the softer going, I do think those horses that drop back in trip, that are used to running over further, will be suited to the sprint. So I am expecting a late finish from her, and for me, she is ultimately the first choice in race number 2.
And I think Unconquerable Lady's also going to run well in the second race on the card. Drawn towards the outside, though, is Below Deck, but got the man for the job. We've seen Richard Fourie get across most of the time pretty easily and deliver. Right. Monumental, one of the most impressive winners I've seen in the 2-year-old ranks. Fluffed his lines last time out. Going back to the well, drawn towards the outside, down the straight. This looks to be quite a hot little juvenile play.
Well, you mentioned the Lunneman. He is my first choice for the Lunneman. Monumental, quite a few times. Also, quite a few. All of his first 3 starts, drawn 10 under 11, drawn 9, drawn towards the outside around the turn. And his last run, he was very disappointing, but he never settled in running.
Yeah.
Just as soon as he settles, he's going to be a top horse in the making. And for me, he is the first choice in race number 3.
And a brother to Gladiatorian, the winner of the Post Merchants on Hollywoodbets Devon July.
30-1 shots in the last leg.
Stuart Ferry's first graded winner. Watch out for improvement there from number 9 Greenland in race 3. Don't know about winning, but a nice horse in the making.
Yeah.
Then the pick 6 starts in race 4.
Pick 6 time. Host of first timers in race number 4, but I think this is where we take use of the pick 6 rule with the unraced runners. So I'm going to go with the numbers 10 and 11, hoping that those two beats the other 2 raced runners. Based on the raced runners' form, there is no form to date whatsoever. So if a first timer does win and the selections 10 Ponte Vecchio, 11 Graduation Time finish behind, they will ultimately qualify for the pick 6. So that is the route that I am going for the first leg.
There. Obviously, the money on Boogie Fight is something to take note of. And what about Cabaret? Aventure Royalty out of Valderrama Oratoria.
With a very light galloping weight on debut, filly against the boys, so it should be very, very interesting. But again, I'm going cheap, going very little here, very light. Numbers 10 and 11 scales through the first leg of the pick 6.
Even number 8 Green Knight, being a brother to At My Command, makes his debut. Then race number 5. I found the next 2 races pretty tricky, Dev. I don't know what you make of it.
Pretty tricky. This is where I go very short in race number 5. For me, the best bet on the card, number 5, Snow Pilot. Ultimately, very classy horse in the making, I think. Not a really competitive field here. Biggest danger will be number 7, Lady Mallorca, I think. But number 5, this is where bank in the pick 6. We will go wider later on in the course of the afternoon. But Snow Pilot, I'm all in.
Okay, you call it that race. I'll take your word for it. I can at least shout Snow Pilot home without being too biased. Race 6. I like Epicleros.
Epicleros, okay. Well, there's been a lot of talk about it from the Snaith stable on both of her starts, and now stepping up to the 1,600 meter trip. Will be interesting to see how she takes to that. I've run quite wide here, all the numbers: 1 Analytic, 2 Women's World, 3 Sunshine Day. Epicleros, as you said, 12 Mothership, 13 Go Like Flow, and my value bet for the day, number 10 Dawn of Gold. Now yesterday, obviously you commentated at Turfentine, and it was number 11 Imvalelo.
Yes.
So very similar, over 1,200 meters, 2 starts, then stepped up in trip and showed great amounts of improvement. I'm expecting that from number 10 Dawn of Gold, who had the 1 start over 1,200 meters, now stepping up to 1,600 meters from Brett Crawford and Louis Okotoa. So value bet for the day, number 10 Dawn of Gold in race number 6.
Tony Crawford and Drakenstein stud with Dawn of Gold in the 6th race. Now, I like race 7 as a race.
Yes.
But to try and wrap my head around what's going to happen, I think is a very, very tricky prospect. Have you got any answers here?
For me, number 3 linebacker, the class horse in the race,
No doubt.
61.5 kilograms. So, but there is a reason, because he is the class horse in the race. Of course, he was in July 2 years ago and last year as well. So, Sugar Mountain, 54.5 kilograms, looking for a hat trick of wins, could just be there. And number 6, Gem King, also a bit of value, I think. He's been racing against a lot tougher this season, and comes in with 57 kilograms, should I say. And I'm sticking with those 3 numbers. Anything from you other than those 3?
My 2 hints of value are 5 Sachdev and 8 Fire Rally. Sachdev caught the eye, called them in the winter sprint a couple of weeks ago, stayed on strongly over the wrong trip. And number 8 Fire Rally, I'm always a fan of his. I think that he punches above his weight, and taking on the likes of linebacker, I think he raises his game when he takes on better horses.
Well, I mean, you will be commentating that race. Outright first selection, nail you to the board.
Linebacker. Best horse in the race.
There we go. Right. Race number 8, the penultimate race of the afternoon. Also a very chappy affair. Pick 6, where are we going?
I like Matar. I don't know what you make of this daughter of soft falling rain. Whether I'm thinking a little bit too far out the box, and it's become a little bit cliche, Dev. Soft falling rains in soft conditions grow an extra leg. She's had 4 starts in the soft for a win in 2 places. She's got the right type of form to win. Louis Otwa takes the ride. The blinkers go on, the cheek pieces come off. She's not progressed in cheek pieces, but she's not gone backwards with cheek pieces on. I think at this class 4 fillies and mares level, she could be the right one, but there are a few improvers. There's a horse in this race, so I wouldn't leave out a trifectas and quartets, number 9, Copper View. I liked her a lot last time out, and she ran a dismal race, but I'm not going to lose faith in number 9, Copper View. If she runs into the first 4, I'll be a happy man.
Okay, all right. Well, just some others. I think number 2, Island Treasure from the Lucinda Woodruff stable, being oh so unlucky in recent starts, now trying an extra 200 meters. She runs on extremely well, and hopefully with luck in running that she will finish a lot closer, if not yet into the winner's box. 3, My Flower Fate, only had the 2 starts and was a winner in her second start in the softer conditions. So
big filly as well.
Very big filly, so maybe she has the upset potential. 5, Cloud Chaser, has proven to be consistent of late, and number 12, Philosophize, who would have been my first selection, but ultimately drawn 12 out of 12, is going to be quite tricky for her. So as long as Aldo is able to get into a good position, 12, Philosophize can't be left out.
And then on to the finale. This is actually a very good race to wrap up. It's a Hollywoodbets Bright Future Cape B Stakes over 1950. I'm pretty strong that Justin Snaith is going to win the race, but I don't know who with.
So this is very interesting because this race was supposed to happen last week, but of course with the abandonment of the race meeting, Mucho Dinero and Night Ruler. I believe Richard was supposed to be riding Mucho Dinero, but I think the weights have changed. Now he's jumped off Mucho Dinero to ride number 2, Night Ruler, and now Grant's picked up the ride of Mucho Dinero. So I'm not entirely too sure with the jockey arrangements who is fancied the most from the Justin Snaith stable, but I'm going with number 5, Royal Watch, who stayed on. He stayed on really well in his last start, and I think he was just too far back, and then Montaigne was just a really good win on the day, and ultimately was the rest of the field just fighting for minor places. But I'm in the camp of 5, Royal Watch.
The way you teed that up, I could see the angle that you were coming with number 5, Royal Watch. He actually catches my eye as well, I must be honest. I'm very interested to see how Mucho Dinero goes second run after a rest, because I like him as a horse. You know, it might come a little bit too soon, but I think in about 3 months' time, I think by the time we're getting towards the end of Hollywoodbets D'Urberville and preparing for Hollywoodbets Kenilworth in the summer, I think Mucho Dinero will have an extra win or 2 under the belt and be rated a little bit higher. So interested to see how he goes. But anyway, looking forward to the day.